Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. My name is Dana and today I'm going to be teaching you how to do the Tunisian crochet stitch. This is the perfect crochet stitch if you're going for like a knit-like look but you don't know how to knit. So it's perfect for my crochet girlies, and it's also what I use to crochet my color block scarf. In this tutorial, I'll walk you through the basics like how to count your rows and how to change colors. So whether you're creating your own design or following along to crochet the color block scarf, you'll have everything you need to get started. For this tutorial, you'll need your yarn of choice. If you're recreating the color block scarf, I recommend using a weight for acrylic yarn. I use a few colors from Loops and Threads from Michaels, but today I'll be using a chunky yarn from my yarn stash just because it's easier to see what I'm doing. You'll also need a Tunisian crochet hook. I'm using a 6.5mm hook from Amazon. With Tunisian crochet, it is best to size up your hook to prevent from curling, especially if you're a beginner. For example, the recommended hook size for weight 4 yarns is usually a size 5, so the hook I use is about a size and a half up. But if you're able to maintain a consistent loose tension, then you might be okay with using a 5.5 or 6mm hook. Lastly, you'll need a pair of scissors. Now let's get into the tutorial. Okay, first you want to start by chaining your desired width. This will determine how wide your scarf will be. For my color block scarf, I chained a total of 27 chains, but for the sake of this video, I'll only be chaining 8. Once you have your desired number of chains, you will skip the first chain and enter your hook into the top loop of the second chain. Pull up a loop, then enter your hook into the next chain and pull up another loop. Enter your hook into the next chain and pull up another loop. Continue doing this until you reach the end of the row. Once you're done, you should have the same number of loops on your hook as the number of chains you crocheted. So for me, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 loops. To work our way back across, you're going to yarn over and pull through just one loop. This kind of acts as like a turning chain. Yarn over again, but this time you're going to be pulling through 2 loops. Yarn over and pull through 2 loops again. Yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Continue doing this until you have yarned over and pulled through your last set of loops. Okay, we have made it to the end of the row, and this is what your work should be looking like. You can kind of see the pattern forming just a little bit. To start our next row, once again, we're going to skip this first space and instead work into the space right next to it. As you can see, it's kind of like a front and a back bar. We want to insert our hook directly in between those bars. Next, you're going to pull up a loop, insert your hook into the next space, pull up a loop, insert your hook into the next space, and pull up a loop. You're going to continue doing this until you reach the end of the row. Now, as you can see, I've almost reached the end, but I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 loops on my hook. So I'm going to turn my work to the side, and as you can see, there's like one last set of vertical bars on the side of the work. It's kind of like a little V. I'm going to pick up both of those bars with my hook and pull up a loop. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 loops like we originally started with. And just like before, to make our way back across, we're going to yarn over and pull through 1 loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, yarn over and pull through 2 loops again. You're going to continue doing this until you pull through your last set of loops. So you're just going to continue repeating this until you reach your desired length. Essentially what you're doing is every time you're going to be starting a row, you want to make sure that you're yarning over and pulling up a loop. When you're working your way back across or doing a return pass, you will yarn over and pull through the loops. For the return pass, remember that you are only pulling through 1 loop at first and then pulling through 2 loops for the rest of the row. And yes, it is totally normal for your yarn to curl, especially with acrylic yarn. Keeping your tension loose definitely helps with the curling, but honestly, I kind of like the look of curl edges, especially for scarves. As you keep working, you'll see the pattern start to kind of form. I did a few rows off camera, but I did want to come and just show you how to actually count the rows. So to do this, you're going to turn your work to the side and you're just going to count the little V's. So for me, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. And for the color block scarf, I did a total of 48 rows for each color. So whenever you've reached your desired length of whichever color you're working on, here is how you'll change colors. So when you're working your way back and you have 2 loops left on your hook, you're going to cut your yarn and then you're going to grab your new yarn, so whichever color you've chose, and you're going to pull through both loops with your new color yarn, making sure to tighten both of those loose ends. Then you'll go ahead and work the next row as usual, so inserting your new color into the next space, pulling up a loop, inserting your hook into the next space, pulling up a loop, inserting your hook into the next space, pulling up a loop, and continuing to do this till you reach the end of the row. So when you reach your desired scarf length or you're finished with your project, you're going to want to fasten off your work. So to fasten off, you're going to start your row like usual, inserting your hook into the space and pulling up a loop. Only this time you're going to pull the loop all the way through to create a slip stitch. Continue slip stitching into each space until you reach the end of the row. When you reach your last set of vertical bars on the side, pull up a loop and slip stitch. The last step is to cut your yarn, and then you want to chain 1 and then tighten your work just to make sure it's secure. And that is how you do the Tunisian crochet stitch. Thank you so much for watching my tutorial. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. See you in my next video.